very nearly about sailing June 2024. I'm getting this out a little bit earlier than I normally do, by the way. So this month has been a couple of things. Finished off the pedal board, putting the box around it that I wanted to do, using the jigs and so on and table saw. So I'll show you the finished result. I won't show you how I did that because basically it's just making a bit of a box. And the other major thing that I've done is this. I've got myself a thicknesser planer. It's on wheels, so I can move it around because it's incredibly heavy. It's one of these. It's 12 inches wide, so I can do relatively big boards with it. And I planed down all of those small pallet boards that I've got, which turned out not to be great quality. So I need to figure out what I want to do with those because they won't work for the project that I had in mind. But I got this very cheaply, refurbished it, made a slippery sort of bed thing on it because what it comes with is pretty rubbish. Put new blades on it. As I say, I've made a stand for it, which is pretty much exactly the same, smaller version than my workbench. So that's it. That's all I've been doing. And the other thing which you'll notice, because I think you can see it in shot, is I said there's going to be a motorcycle project coming out. This is not actually the project. This is something that I saw at a reasonable price. I've got to do a few things to it. You know, I've got some carburetors and things hanging around. Really basic, simple work. It actually runs very well. It needs a new seat, needs a few bits and pieces to do with that. But this isn't this is a 44-year-old bike. The project bike is 20 years older than that still. Anyway, let's get on with it and let's start off with, I think, doing this thing. I can't remember. I've done all the videos, but what I've done I haven't got the faintest. So let's do this. And beautiful weather we're having at the moment, so see you later. Right, so I got myself one of these, which is a thicknesser, or I think in the States you call them planers, but it's the same sort of thing. And I wanted one, this is about 12.5 inches, I wanted one that was quite wide. You can get the combined jointer things, but and the trick, as in with most things on eBay, buy one that's a bit tatty, that's not been particularly well looked after. The wind up and down mechanism was all stiff, there was bits of corrosion and stuff on it. Literally an hour of taking it apart, cleaning it up, lubricating it, putting it back together. It's pretty much as good as new. I'm just waiting for some new blades. But the one issue that these things do have is snipe, which is where you get the little cut out bits at the end of when you push the boards through, because basically what you do is you push, or it pulls the board through and it planes it and thicknesses it to exactly the right thickness that you want. And this bit, the engine bit, is absolutely fine, but this bit where you feed it in, terrible design on all of these, the DeWalt ones as well, absolutely dreadful. So I'm going to make a thing and sort that out. I'll show you a quick close-up of this. See, this is the thing, you can adjust the angle of this, but there's still a gap here. So as you're feeding this in, the only flat bit is the actual table in the middle. So and this, if you haven't seen this before, basically there's a couple of you wind it down, basically there's a couple of rollers underneath and it pulls this through, and then you gradually lower it by a tiny little amount, and then it sort of planes it off. And this will actually do quite a thick piece of wood, but I don't need it for anything desperately thick. Anyway, so I'm going to take these off, build something that will all become clear, and I have a little job which I need to do, and that little job is to thickness and plane all of these, which are in pretty horrible condition. I've got gazillions of them because I've got a small project that I want to do, and see if I can maybe even make a little bit of money out of it. It's something which won't take me much effort at all, and we'll see if it actually becomes saleable. And no, it's not a chopping board or a charcuterie board. In the UK, people just do not have charcuterie boards. They just can't be bothered with all that stuff. We use a plate instead. But I know in the States it's a kind of big thing, and I know that people sell chopping boards for a lot of money, but I'm not making a chopping board. but to do all that lot with a hand plane would take me a year. I think it was worth the investment of getting a thicknesser. So anyway, let's get the thicknesser sorted out and let's see if I can actually get all these planed off nicely to the, not all to the same thickness, because there's sort of two distinct sets, but anyway. Right, just a quick one, because I'm certainly not going to show you how to make this. This is, you might say, why aren't you going to make it a little bit bigger, the in-feed and the out-feed? Two reasons. First of all, I've made it about the same size. Three reasons. I made it about the same size as what was there already. Secondly, I've made it 2 feet long, because that fits nicely with my 2-foot rule within the workshop, that things need to fit within 2 feet of the walls. I've got some configurables placed, but most importantly, that's the size of the Formica laminate that I had, so I couldn't have made it any bigger. So just by luck, I had loads of stuff after doing the lamination in the galley, and I'm just looking at the pile of it now, which you can't see because it's behind the camera, but I think I've just about got enough to make all the different sort of fences and so on that I need to do. Anyway, that's the answer for that. Right, well that turned out to be a very simple job indeed. As you can possibly see if I zoom in, I had to do a little bit of a sort of an insert here and managed to get the two runners back exactly where they were before. So now I have perfectly flat in-feed and outfeed. That's the outfeed on this side, and that's the inside, perfectly flat, same size as before. I will probably, when I mount it on a table, put something underneath here. It doesn't really need stiffening, but if I'm putting big boards on, then yes. And I can also extend the outfeed table on one of those fold out things. So yeah, that was an absolute bargain. Really didn't cost very much at all, much less than half the price of a new one, and that's a modification I would have probably done anyway. I am waiting for the blades. I'll give a quick demonstration of it before the end of this video, but there we are. That's just a small project. Easy. Right, so I've made a trolley. I wasn't quite sure what height to do it, so I've made it exactly the same height as my workbench, and I've used the same principles, so it's going to be much too over-engineered, well built, really, isn't it? And I've got wheels on it, so if I just unclick this, I've got them locked. I can easily move it around. I need to get a proper bigger hose for this. I've kind of just got something typed up. But let's see whether it works or not, shall we? I'm sure it will work. Right, so here's a load of just really rough pallet wood that I've roughly, so these are skinny that way and that way. These are skinny that way, and these are a little bit fatter, so they really are in poor condition. I've only done one test cut, but the memory card wasn't working, so I do know that it works, and that's kind of the result. There is a fair bit of snipe on there, which you can probably see. I don't know if you can, it's easy to see. Yeah, that's the line about there. So if I feed these in one after the other, what I'm going to do first is get them generally cleaned up, and then I'm going to thickness them all down to the same size, and I'm going to cut them all square and so on, and see if this is usable. And that's not going to take me very long at all, but let's just video one for those of you who haven't seen a thicknesser before. and I can actually feel the roller at the beginning bit grabbing that, but that's pretty good. You know, that's a sort of a before and an after, and that's just the first sort of rough cut. To get rid of the snipe, what you do is you put them in end to end, which I won't bother to do until I'm doing the final set of thicknessing. Anyway, that's what it is. And to be quite honest, it was so worthwhile putting all this together, because this would have taken me a month of Sundays. In fact, I'd have probably ended up getting rid of this wood. Right, just in case you don't think Lucy still exists, she does. And she likes power tools, but she doesn't want to use the thicknesser. Do you, or do you?
Oh, what?
The thicknesser, do you want to use it?
No.
No.
I enjoy having all the limbs I currently have.
How many is that then?
1, 2, at least 4.
At least 4, right. Formerly a spider. Spider woman.
Yeah.
Right, so anyway, I haven't actually got any chocolate, I've got to go and buy some, but she's... The Honda Civic is parked underneath the sycamore tree where it's been stuck since Lucy drove it here several years ago when it exploded.
No, I didn't drive it here, it got towed the last bit because it didn't go.
That's true. Yeah, and it sort of freewheeled down to
yeah,
here, didn't it? So that's where I left it. Yeah, so it gets all this horrible sticky residue, and it's not a very nice job. And when you're trying to fix it, you kind of get stuck to the car. She's really not very close. Anyway, I'll let you get on with it. I've got some thicknessing to do. Yeah, go on. Action shot. Right, so one of the things you need to be really, really aware of, and as you know, because I think we've covered this before, I've got a cyclone thing which works brilliantly, really, really effective. One thing you have to be really aware of is the amount of this stuff that this pushes out. It is really quite phenomenal. You know, if I just had the shop vac rather than this, I'd be emptying it every 5 seconds. Even so, I've literally done about 1/3 of that pile of wood that I showed you. Yeah, about 1/3, and that's how much it's taken off. Well, that's how much I've needed to taken off. So the air extraction, which I've got kind of taped up very badly at the moment, so I need to get better hoses. Brilliant, working brilliantly. Yes, there's some on the floor, but there's not very much on the floor. I shall show you. That's what's on the floor behind it, and that's the rather sketchy length that I've got to it. So yeah, that's working well, but make sure you check. Right, so that made very short work of doing this. I haven't done the edges, by the way, which I think I said I've only done a very rough planing, thicknessing of the top. So all of this lot, I didn't actually time it because I did it in sort of lots of half an hour, but it really didn't take very long. Is it good enough quality wood to do anything with? Not sure. Some of it is. Some of it's got some massive knots in it. Some of it's pretty poor. You can see that I didn't even bother to sort of plane that one down particularly well. So whether I'm going to use it or not, I don't know, but it was the planer itself, very happy with it. The infeed and outfeed sled works absolutely perfectly, very happy with that. And the trolley is fine, so yeah, as an experiment, worked very well. Right, remember this thing I made it a few weeks ago? I've now put all the pedals on it. It's a guitar pedal board, by the way. I've strapped it on with cable ties. I prefer that to the Velcro thing, and it's pretty solid. You know, it's not gonna fall off. It's got inputs for the guitar and for the microphone there, and it's got separate vocals and guitar output there. But to go on the boat and to be a bit rugged, I need some sort of a lid on it, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use the various jigs and things that I've got now to do that. Right, so the main reason for having a pedal board, or for me, well, apart from portability, well, partly portability, it's the fact that, and I'll show you a clip from previously that I showed before, slightly different layout, but there are so many cables and things that link all these things together, and power supplies and so on, And what it's given me the chance to do is I've got all the cables hidden behind here. Some of them I haven't cut off as short as I could have done, but basically it keeps all this lot out of the way, and the only things that are connected to the actual board are the inputs and outputs, which I can easily undo. So anyway, I need to, as I say, make a lid for this. Very happy with this. It's rough and ready, but it works, and it gave me a chance to use all various jigs and things I've got. So here we go. It's it's a box basically. I was thinking about sort of colour matching this, and I've got some of this Iroko, I think it is, left over, and I could have made it big enough, but I thought, you know what, I've got some scrap plywood, I'll just put these little corner pieces in to make it look a little bit okay. I kind of distressed it a little bit because, you know, at the end of the day it's going to get sort of kicked around. I put the black on there, so I just kind of matched it on there, put a huge great handle on, which is slightly off centre, but the thing is the balance point is off centre, so that's why I did that. And some of those detachable hinges on that side, and some feet on that so it can stand up that way, and also it obviously works as a pedal board. So it's very simple really. Got these very strong over centre catches. This opens up. I put some sort of black felt in there, didn't really need to. And there you go. That is the pedal board. Right, so yeah, at the beginning I said that I had plenty of time and I was going to get this out early. Of course, that's not how it's transpired to work. So I've got the pedal board sorted out. There's a few loose wires, a few connection things that I've got to figure out. At the moment what I'm doing is I'm speaking through the microphone through the pedal board, but with no vocal effects, and the guitar and the vocals are going into the two channels on my H5, so I can't actually hear what you're hearing because it's being recorded. And I've got it on a particular setting where you probably can't hear the guitar, or if you hear it, it's only just coming through the microphone. It's not coming through there. That's so that people like Ed Sheeran and so on have features like this on their pedal board, so you can tune, but we don't tune on this channel, do we? So anyway, yeah, thickness great, really happy with that. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with the pallet wood. Pedal board, fantastic. Next month there will be the motorbike project, because I want to get that on the road before the weather turns. We've actually got some nice weather at the moment, and I want to get out there on the road and ride the flipping thing. As I say, it's not the main project. Anyway, this is not going to go well because I'm already struggling just pressing the one button, and I'm in bare feet as well, just pressing the one button to get it to put the reverb on. So that, you should hear a difference there. You should hear reverb on my voice there. Now I'm gonna slaughter a Bob Dylan song. Now the good news about this is that if YouTube recognises it, this video will either be banned and you won't see it at all, or Bob Dylan will get the money from the adverts, and so some good will have come out of it. I'm going to try halfway through to hit the button and get the box which puts this into a thing where it's going to pick up the guitar chords I'm playing and actually put a higher harmony on top of my voice. And I haven't tried this, and I won't be able to hear it because, as I say, it's going straight into the recorder, and I'm already struggling thinking about. I'm gonna mess this up because I'm going to be thinking too hard about pressing the button, so I might pause a little bit. Ain't no use sitting recording. Oh. See, I can't even remember the words. I played this song a million times. Ain't no use sitting wonder why, babe. Even you don't know by now. And it ain't no use sitting wonder why, babe. It'll never do somehow. Button. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, well, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Button. Oh, didn't work. Button. Don't think twice. You're the reason I'm traveling on, but don't think twice, it's alright. Well, that didn't work, did it? I could, I've got one button to press. Oh, hang on, I've still got the reverb on. I had one job. I had one button to press at the right time, and it didn't happen. But I think you can kind of see the principle of what's going on here. Dear, oh dear, I do apologise. If any new viewers, I just, you'll have switched off way before this. Anyway, yeah, next month, let's get the bike on the road and get some wind in our hair, because motorcycling and sailing, there's definitely a link with those two things. It's freedom. That's what it is. Sailing and motorcycling is all about freedom, as Mel Gibson would say. Enough of this waffle. Let's see you next month. Bye.